Hi guys, Beth here, aka Mediagirl94. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another manga haul slash collection for the month of January. And well, this is also going to be like a Christmas slash January manga haul because some of these volumes were actually Christmas presents from like family or like friends. So technically it's the month of like December and January rolled into one. Now I actually haven't done a manga haul here on the channel since my secondhand manga haul at the end of October, because I said I wanted to kind of like take a break and read some of the series that were sitting on my shelves. And I feel like I've managed to like catch up with like a few new series and like some older series, so I kind of feel like I'm in that boat now where I'm confident enough that I've read enough that I can justify buying more manga. So yeah, I will point out as I'm showing off the volumes what were Christmas presents and what I bought myself. Again, kind of like I've been doing in like the last couple. Some of these volumes were from Sci-Fi, Waterstones, Worlds Apart, and Forbidden Planets. Yes, they are the places, and Amazon. Can't forget Amazon. So yeah, I have bought from multiple places. So yeah, I've got 4 piles sitting in front of me. I've got volumes like for a series, which I've got like 8 volumes for, and then just random piles. So, we have a lot to get through. I believe there are like 26 volumes sitting here, which I know is probably to some people going to be like, right, you've been off for like a few months. Why have you only got that many? Manga is expensive, and yes, some of these were gifts or I had like vouchers for Christmas, but manga is very expensive and it's only getting pricier, so I've kind of got to be a little bit more strategic with my buying and committing to series. So yeah, but I feel like this is enough. Also, there's an omnibus in here, so like I'm not sure if that counts as like 1 or 2 volumes, so it's going to be either 26 or 27 if you count the omnibus as 2 individual volumes. Before we begin, if you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking a like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's just dive straight into this December-January manga haul. Like I said in the introduction, one of the places I bought from was Sci-Fi. They are like an online shop, so they're not physical shop, and you can get volumes of manga for like lower than half price. And so I actually decided to use Sci-Fi for the first time because quite a few of like the manga tubers that I watch here on YouTube or like on TikTok, a lot of them say Sci-Fi is really good. And the whole point of Sci-Fi is the reason they can get them cheap is because they get them like directly from like the publisher, which is why they can get them cheaper. However, that means sometimes you can have a little bit of like a weight on your hands because they do not like to send out. Well, in my case, they didn't send out. No, they sent out all but 1 volume, and then that came in like an individual package, and they kept emailing me being all like, oh yeah, we've got it, but we don't want to like ship out until we have like the majority of your order, which I approve of. So yeah, only 1 volume came separate. So we'll start with this little pile, and these are actually, I think all of these were like volume 1s of series that I have seen other manga tubers read and pretty much praise, and I'm a sucker. All you've got to do is like convince me that a series might be good and I might check it out. So up first we have The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter. Also, a lot of these are BLs. And this is actually a series that I saw like a lot of like manga tubers like recommending. The gist is there's a guy, he gets like transported to like a world. Once upon a time, in the not-too-distant past, a holy maiden was summoned, not just any holy maiden, one hailing from modern Japan. But this story is not her story. This is the tale of the humble accountant, Kondu, who accompanied her and his trials and woes as he accounts in a new world. But no tale is complete without a love interest, and who better to play the role than the handsome knight captain Aresh, Will he begin a personal quest to save the bean counter who toils around the clock, or is Kondu doomed to be married to his work evermore? So he's an accountant in another time. Literally, I was sold with BL. So, yeah, I know absolutely nothing about this series, and I found it on Sci-Fi, and I was like, ooh, cheap. Because I had seen this actually in like a couple of the shops, but it was full price, and I was like, Yen Press, who is the publisher, very pricey sometimes, so I was like, oh, this sounds like a bargain. So I picked it up. Like I said, I can be easily suggested. I can be easily manipulated into buying things. Up next is The Dragon's Betrothed. Again, this is a BL. This is published by Sublime, which means it's going to be a very slow upload schedule. Again, this was like a booktuber was like, yo, check this out, and I was like, sure. Again, I know absolutely nothing. Troubled writer reluctantly returns to his rural hometown, hoping some R&R will refresh his creative juices. Instead of finding respite, he's quickly entangled in an old promise to be wed to a local god. The water dragon god. Okay. So it's like kind of like, I agreed to marry a god, and now the god wants to marry me. I'm not sure, but I bought it. This is pretty much what this pile is. Literally recommendations that I was like, oh, they sound interesting. Next up is The Haunted Bookstore, Gateway to a Parallel Universe. Again, this is volume 1. It's set in like a bookstore where the boundaries between the mortal realm and the spirit realm are blurred. An exorcist stumbles, and he hates demons and like spirits, and he's like, I'm going to rid the world, and they're going to work together to realise their differences. I'm literally going off the blurb here. But yeah, I saw it, and again, I've seen, like I said, I've seen these volumes in shops, and they're expensive, because again, this is 7 Seas. So like 7 Seas and like Yen Press are very expensive, so I try and buy series by this publisher online, because they tend to be cheaper online. Up next is My Dear Curse Casting Vampiress. This is vampires. In the last couple of manga hauls I've done, I've thrown in like a few like vampire series. Again, this is just a random buy. This guy, the gist I get is he's like an army guy, and he makes a deal with the vampire, this like beautiful vampire, and like they're kind of like bonded. I have flicked through this, I actually haven't read it yet, and it seems really cute, like the dynamic relationship. So like she feeds from him, and she's going to help him kill vampires, because as it says on the back, the world is full of vampires who drain the blood from humans without mercy. And like, so you've got the army that are fighting, they're losing the war, and well, he makes a deal with the vampiress, and yeah, so like I said, I flicked through this, and it seems like really cute, like wholesome interactions, and I'm like, oh, okay, this could be one that I continue to read. And up next is Bloody Sweet Volume 1. Again, this is a vampire story, although on the back it says not your average vampire story. So you've got like a depressed human, and he's like, I'm gonna eat you up. However, he decides he wants to bring a smile to her face, and so they kind of like team up. I haven't read through this, but I was like, why is this so expensive? And I didn't realise that it's actually like full colour, and I was like, oh damn. That explains like the nearly like £20 like price tag on this when I saw it in like a shop. And I was like, it's also really heavy. And I'm like, damn. What the hell have I picked up? But yeah, vampires. Again, it's like a vampire bonded to a human. I'm not sure if it's going to be cute, it's going to be sad, because it's a very depressed human, and he's like, ooh, I don't really want to eat off someone who's depressed. So if I make you happy, then I can eat you. Don't play with your food. But yeah, when I saw that it was coloured, I was like, this is beautiful. I'm not sure how, if I like this series, if I will continue to pick it up, because unless I can find a really good deal like I did on Sci-Fi, it's very expensive. Like I said, it's nearly like £20 if I was to buy it in a shop, and I could buy a few cheaper volumes for that price, so money logic. Continuing on with what I bought from Sci-Fi, like the volumes I just showed you were a part of like my order, and I actually paid for those volumes. And when my parents were like, what do you want for Christmas, and I went, oh, just get me some manga, they actually paid for this half of my order, and they were like, right, we're going to get you these volumes for Christmas. And so they got me the first 7 volumes of Windbreaker. I am obsessed with this series. It has quickly become one of my favourites. I knew nothing about this series. I'm going to hold up volume 1. Again, I found the anime by chance on Crunchyroll, and then I saw some TikToks with people comparing it to Tokyo Revengers, because like the author of this series is like, yeah, I'm a really big fan of Tokyo Revengers. Again, this is like delinquents in like high school. But there is a difference between Tokyo Revengers and this series. A lot of people are comparing them and being like, oh, one is better than the other. Just because it's delinquents, you've actually got to check out both series, because I'm a massive fan of Tokyo Revengers, and they do things slightly differently to what this series does. So there's enough differences where I'm like, right, they can stand on their own. But I think people just hear delinquents and they just assume it's the same story. I cannot wait for season 2 of the anime. But yeah, so my parents bought me the 7 volumes. So yeah, we have volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Yes, some of these characters, if you look at them, you go, okay, I can see the inspiration from Tokyo Revengers, because if you look at this guy, doesn't he remind you of Baji? So yeah, maybe the author took some liberty. We have a volume 4 with my husband. Oh, he's my favourite. He's my best boy. Also, like in the anime when he fights, I'm just like, oh. So yeah, my favourite. Volume 5, volume 6, and volume 7 with this cutie on the front. So yeah, like I said, there's enough differences between this and Tokyo Revengers that I highly recommend. If you like one or the other, then just like check it out. Go into it with like an open mind, or even check out the anime, because the anime is very like loyal to like the first. I'm not actually sure, because the anime for the series 1 is like the first arc, and it kind of ends season 1 going into like the season 2 arc, which is a new rival gang, which I believe is actually in volume 7 or volume 8. Now, the reason I'm showing you volume 8 separately is because I actually bought this, because when my parents bought me the first 7 volumes, volume 8 wasn't out. So the volumes that I've currently got my hands on is like the first arc, and I want to say like the second arc, which is being animated in season 2 of the anime. I just hope that as a fan of Tokyo Revengers, that who got shunted or got like shafted with the anime getting like either cancelled or on hiatus, or whatever Disney is doing with the rights to Tokyo Revengers, I just hope that with the popularity of Windbreaker, that the anime continues to be a success. But yeah, I just love the characters and I highly recommend it. I'm not really sure what to call this 3rd and 4th pile. They're just 2 separate piles. But yeah, this is pile number 3. It is 2 series that I've bought multiple volumes of. And let's kick off with Black Butler. I picked up volume 20 and volume 21. Now, I need to like clarify something, guys. Like the last time I bought Black Butler, I got like 18 and 19 volumes, and I was like, oh yeah, they've just finished the school like arc in like terms of like the anime, and the next arc is like the Emerald like witch arc, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if they're going to animate it. And then literally a couple of months after I did that manga haul, they came out and went, oh yeah, we're already working on the next season, which will be the witch arc. And I'm like, this is really weird timing. I started picking up this series again before like they even announced that the school arc was being animated, and these volumes go into like the witch arc, and I'm just like, wow, this is coincidence. I don't want people to think, oh, you're just picking up this series because of the anime, because I picked up like the first like 15 volumes and then I just stopped collecting it because there's over 30 volumes in this series, and I just thought, you know, now's the time to go back to checking out Black Butler. I just love how on the covers you have like the characters, and there are like enough characters. Yes, Sebastian and like CL, there's going to be overlap because they are like the main, so they can be on multiple covers. But I like how they put other characters, like side characters, on the covers. These two are like staff who work in like the Phantom Hive Manor, and they are just adorable and a little reckless. And so yeah, it feels very weird recollecting Black Butler when the anime is being continued, because the anime had a pause and then it came back and I was like, they're not going to continue it, and now they are. So yeah, Black Butler. What can I say? It's a popular series, and well, the only issue with them doing the anime is that the shops that I normally buy these volumes from, it is very hard to get certain volumes because people will come and picked it apart. So it took me a while to get my hands on 20 and 21, and even then I could only get like 20 and 21. They didn't have 22 and 23, but they had like 24, and I was like, but I don't want that. I like to buy my volumes all at once. So yeah, Black Butler, if you don't know it, just Google it. It's a really popular series. The dub or the sub, whatever catches your fancy. But yeah, this is like a brand new arc, and I'm really intrigued to see how it's animated. This next series I bought 4 volumes of. It is Taimon's B-Side Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5. Now, again, a couple of hauls ago, I picked up randomly Volume 1, and I was like, I just saw the cover and I had to buy it. And well, like, yeah, I said at the time there were like multiple volumes out. I believe number 5 is definitely the most recent. I'm not sure. I know number 6 definitely comes out in like maybe the next couple of months. But yeah, I have fallen in love with this series. So you've got our main girl. She's obsessed with this idol, and she spends all her money on like merchandise, going to see him, supporting him. And she's like, oh my god, he's a god. And he's part of like an idol group. However, in order to like make money, she's a housekeeper, and she ends up cleaning the house of her favourite idol. There's just one problem. The image of this handsome, sexy, like smart idol, in real life, behind the camera, he is shy, he's depressed, he's self-loathing, he doesn't have self-confidence, and so it's kind of like a nice look behind like the like perfection of like idol image, and how off-camera idols might act a little differently. And as you can see on the cover, like other members of his idol group have been introduced, and just like him, turns out they all have different personalities off camera. And so I just think it's really interesting, because even though he's completely different in real life, she's like, no, I'm gonna support you because you can be better than who you say you are. And I'm like, wow. And slowly but surely she kind of gets into like with, not romantically with like the other members of the group, but they're like really like, oh, who is this girl who's come into his life? And one by one it's kind of like, oh, we hate her. But now she's our friend. So it's very cutesy. It's shoujo beat at its best. It's cute. You're there like, I ship these two and I want nothing but good things for them. But yeah, like I said, what started off as like a random buy of Volume 1, we're now 5 volumes in, boys and girls, and I have committed. I'm not sure how long the series is going to be, but from what I read online, I believe there's like 9 volumes that are like already out, and that's in Japan. But like Volume 6 in terms of being published in English is coming out probably in like the next few months. So I'm unsure how long this series is going to be, but I'm going to keep buying it because sometimes we need a little cute in our lives. And on to the final pile. I don't know what I'm calling this pile, but there is some random stuff. We are going to start with two, where is it? There we go, 2 volumes, because like I said, my parents got me The Windbreaker volumes 1 to 7, but then my housemate, she got me a £15 voucher for Forbidden Planet, and so of course I had to go buy some manga, and these are the 2 that I picked up with her like Christmas voucher. Let's start with Polar Bear Cafe Volume 4. I already own volumes 1 through 3. There are 5 volumes in this series, and it is like a slice of life, cute series that follows like animals in like, well, Polar Bear, he's the main character, he has a cafe. There's Panda, who's lazy. You've got Grizzly, he like owns like a bar and he's like best friends with like Polar Bear, and they get up to like loads of like antics and like shenanigans. There's also humans who interact with the animals. It is cute. You can check out the anime, I believe it's on Crunchyroll. This type of series isn't for everyone, and I've tried to recommend it to friends and they just cannot get into it, but I'm just like, I love it. And these volumes are surprisingly hard to pick up in like a shop, so when I came across volume 4 randomly sitting on the shelf, and I was like, you are going in my basket. So yeah, I just need to pick up volume 5 and then this series is complete. But if you want cute animal slice of life, check out Polar Bear Cafe. And the second piece of manga that I bought with that voucher is Blood Night Market. If you can't already tell from that title, it's vampires with like a subtle undertone, I want to say, of like BL, because there is a human. Yeah. He's in charge of the Blood Control Bureau. So there's vampires, and he's like, vampires, you need to like watch what you eat. But he has undesirable blood. He then comes across this enigmatic vampire who's like, yo, I want to drink your blood because no one else wants to. And again, this was just like a random buy. I literally saw the spine, which was this, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I picked up and I saw the cover and I went, this is going to be a BL, isn't it? And then I read the blurb and I was like, vampires? You've sold me. Come on, people. I am that generation whose main vampire film in like the mid-2000s was Twilight, so of course I'm going to have an obsession with vampires. And one of like the first animes I watched and one of the first manga series I read was Vampire Night. So of course vampires have stuck with me, and well, not a lot actually goes on in this first volume, so I'm really intrigued because normally volume 1s are setups for what's to come, and it does set up for like future volumes, but at times it did feel like it was like a little bit all over the place. But you know, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because like I said, it's like boy love, it's vampires, and I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to give it a second chance. So yeah, I wasn't thoroughly impressed, but I'm intrigued enough by the premise that I might continue collecting it. Now on to the volumes that I bought myself with like no Christmas money. Up first is volume 9 of the BL Given. It's been like a couple of manga hauls, like a couple of manga hauls ago I picked up 5, 6, 7, 8, and I said that 9 had come out, but I was waiting to find it for like a good price, and I'm not sure why, if it's because I know with Given it's a BL series and well, there can be like a year between like releases, or they just don't publish like a lot of volumes, because it actually took me a while to get my hands on volume 9. I know what you're thinking, Beth, why didn't you just buy it online? Because I wanted to get it in my 3 for 2 at like my local shop Worlds Apart, and they finally had it, and so I actually picked this up in November. So I've read it, I'm up to date with Given. It's one of my favourite BL series. Music, friendship, romance, a little bit depressing. And like I said, I've committed to this series. Like, it's been going since my university days, and I'm going to continue collecting it until this series is finished. But yeah, if you like a good BL, then Given is always recommended. You can also check out the anime online if you want to get a taste before you commit to the manga. Up next is The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting Volume 5. Now, if you actually checked out like my favourite like manga video that I released at the end of 2024 going into 2025, The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting I had as one of my favourite like manga series of the year. And it's just like a really weird series because like there's 5 volumes which have been published in English. However, I want to say there are like multiple volumes in like Japan. They just haven't been published yet in English, and I'm not sure if it's like a publisher issue or if it's like the author or it's just really slow to get like a translation. But this is such like a wholesome series. You've got a little girl, you've got this guy, he's like her babysitter, he's like a badass like mafia member, but he gets in trouble, and so other characters on the back, so his like mafia boss is like, you're gonna babysit my daughter, and it's like a really like wholesome like friendship between these two characters who have absolutely nothing in common when they start hanging out. But then like other characters are introduced. This guy hates him and wants him dead, but he's like, yo, I've got a little girl here, go away. So it's pretty much about found family. If you like mafia, if you like Yakuza, then check out this series. It's really cute. There is an anime. The anime, I believe, covers up until like volume... Well, it's weird because I want to say it does up to like volume like 3, 4 because it's lots of little stories within these volumes. So I probably have to rewatch just to like definitely be accurate. But yeah. Check out the anime first if you don't want to commit, because this is Kaiten Books, which is a publisher I've never actually heard of, so that could be why they're getting very slow to translation. But I'm keeping my eyes out because I just feel like this is such like a cute series that more people need to check out. So yeah, like I said, Yakuza, found family, drama, action, blood, death, romance, check it out. Oh no, it wouldn't be a manga haul if I didn't have some sort of Tokyo Revengers series to talk about. Oh look, I have volumes 1 and 2 of Tokyo Revengers, A Letter from Baji. Now, I'm going to just show you cover of volume 1. You have Baji, and I can never pronounce his name and I feel like really bad because it's like Shifuyu? I just call him Fuyu, or Fufu. Because if you have checked out Tokyo Revengers, the anime or the manga, you will know that he is the second, and like Takemichi is like the leader of that like unit, and he's his second. However, before Takemichi came along, you had Baji, and these two were like unstoppable. However, spoiler alert. Actually, no, I'm not going to spoil it. But something happens to Baji, which is why Takemichi takes over as like the captain, and like he's the vice captain. So this is like a prequel series, I believe. I heard about this online, and then I just randomly stumbled upon these 2 volumes in Worlds Apart here in Liverpool, and I was like, I'm gonna buy them because I have not seen them anywhere else. And it just seems like it's like an interesting backstory because we see more about like the Tokyo Monji gang. In like the early years, we're introduced to like characters who aren't actually in like the Tokyo Revengers, so I'm like, oh, that's really interesting to introduce new characters and like backstory, more lore for the gang. And I just love these 2 characters together. They have some really good interactions. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil what happens to Baji because it's kind of like a really big like plot point in early Tokyo Revengers. I was just really interested when they decided to do like a side story with these 2 characters. But yeah, if you like Tokyo Revengers and you like side stories, then check out this. And of course, the final volume of this manga haul is shock horror. Tokyo Revengers Omnibus Volume 25 and 26 because, I'm obsessed with Tokyo Revengers. What can I say? It feels so weird holding 25 and 26 because there are like 31 volumes, so it's so close to completing this series. I'm so sad. But like, I already know how the story ends because I've read ahead online. It's literally just me picking up the volumes so I can have them on my shelf. Like I've said with like these other omnibuses, I just love the covers, and then you get like another, if I can open it, you get like a colour cover inside. So we have like Ken on the inside looking all like a badass. But yeah, Tokyo Revengers, like kind of, I'm going to bring it up, Windbreaker is like the new Tokyo Revengers. And I just hope that Windbreaker gets more love than Tokyo Revengers. The anime got shafted, so fingers crossed Windbreaker can kind of like pick up that mantle. But yeah, I've committed to Tokyo Revengers in terms of picking up these like volumes. It doesn't have the best of endings. Like, I will hold my hands up now and say, yes, when I read the ending, I was like, But it just has some really interesting like arcs. And it really annoys me because you had like the anime ended with like the Tenjiku arc, which I believe was one of like the strongest arcs in like the series as a whole. But then kind of like the anime stopped after that. But there are so many more interesting arcs that come after that I'm just like, oh, they better get animated in the future, but I can't see them because Disney for some reason have the rights to the series. So hopefully Crunchyroll does hold on to Windbreaker and it doesn't get bought by Disney. But yeah, Tokyo Revengers, delinquents in Tokyo, multiple gangs fighting to be the very best that no one ever was. Yeah, so bye now, shock horror. I'm ending this haul with Tokyo Revengers. If you've checked out some of my other hauls, I always seem to end or start with a Tokyo Revengers omnibus, so in the future, who knows, by like the end of this year, so the end of 2025 or like the start of 2026, this series will be over, and I'll have to find a new series to obsess over. But for now, I will stick to Tokyo Revengers, and that ends my December, January, Christmas manga haul. So there we have it, guys and girls of the internet. That was just my Christmas, December, January manga haul. I hope you guys learned something about me and, well, my taste in manga. I cannot wait to pick up more volumes, more series like this year of 2025. It feels so weird saying 2025, and it also feels so weird knowing that it's already the end of January. I need to get my life together. But anyway, in the comments below, if you've read any of these series, feel free, to share your reviews, or if you want to recommend me series you think I will like, because I'm open to like a wide variety of like genres. I'm not just, oh, I like one genre. No, I'm open to check out anything, because if you kind of like stick to like one genre, you kind of like box yourself off from like other series that you might fall in love with. So yeah, recommend me stuff in the comments. Let's just wrap up this video before I continue to ramble. If you'd like to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking a like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, I'm Beth, Mediagirl94. Goodbye.